Paul? Yeah. All of those on the Affordable Care Act? Yes. You know, there's a way to defraud, yes, Medicare, Medicaid, yeah. Because when you understand how Medicare supplement works and Medicare Advantage plans, yes, and then the other 20% you can buy is on Medicare insurance, yeah. What happens is you make a diagnosis that gives you approximately $50,000 to treat the individual. Yes. Now that's the initial diagnosis, but you change it. And you always come in underneath the maximum amount according to CMS regulations. Pooh. Now it looks like you're saving the government money, but really that wasn't your original diagnosis of what was ailing the individual. Yes. And since I did do quite a bit of study about the Center for Medicaid Services, yeah, I thought for sure that somebody was actually getting profitability that they didn't deserve. Yes. Now, since I've been to that emergency room numerous times, I remember when somebody threw the diagnosis at me. Yes. And I thought that Mike Van Proyen was making a show in the hospital. Who paid for the show when I went to the hospital in the middle of the night? Was it Mike Van Proyen? Oh. See, Mike likes to throw things, doesn't he? Oh, is he an abusive husband? Oh. Did he make lookalikes of his wife and kids? Oh. You know, this thought of violating the actual requirements of law, yes, when diagnosing any patient when they first admit themselves, yeah, it's important that we don't try to make ourselves look better than we are. And for the individuals in that hospital that know about forgery, fraud, and where I was at on June 16th of 2017, I will tell you that it's child abuse and child neglect. Yes. Kidnapping. Child abduction. Yes. And for some reason, you don't seem to understand my right to sue you. Now, I emailed Olympic Medical Center. Yes. And I emailed some other private physicians in Clallam County. Yeah. That should have some knowledge. Yes. Of what is a requirement. Yes. To be able to issue any court order. Now, I'm going to want them, and then I'm going to do some research about exactly what is being coded, yes, as the needs of the individual institutions that receive their payment from Medicare and Medicaid services. Yes. Now, Department of Health and Human Services, yeah. You might not realize the effect of going to an emergency room where the doctor says no sale. Oh, as if I was the target of a show. Let's go ahead. And you were going to violate my rights so as to entertain your come to find out families lookalikes that come to find out. Oh! Now, I thought that somebody had wanted to put that on me, and I thought, no, you don't want to do that, do you? Now, annual eligibility redetermination or re-enrollment for exchange coverage for 2019 and latter years. Yeah. Through the exchange and insurance affordability programs on an annual basis. So you have the individuals that are obligated to have health insurance. Yes. And as a consumer, yeah, I had some problems with that. See, there was the thought of the FDA implantable device. Maybe presidential candidate Joe Biden remembers the questions that he gave to Supreme Court Justice John Roberts. No. Yeah. You know, where are all those biochips that we were going to say that the government had the right to put in the bodies of American citizens? Now, I know you changed the actual legislation, but my thought was that I'm going to want to know the coding. Yeah. And then all the changes the CMS has made over the last, 25 years. It seemed that they did not want to pay for the most expensive medical procedures. And quite often, when it's time to let them go, why don't we load them up with electricity, put them in the cemetery? Yeah. So the electric grid, so that all of us are diseased biological warfare. Now, these look-alike spouses that are the come to find out family, yeah, where they just have to come to find out, yeah, where they have to, yeah. Exactly how would you read the orgasm of a citizen? How would you do that? Now, did you want to explain any technology that I've had personal experience with, or did you want to say I was crazy? Why don't you get me that CMS coding and all the actual changes that have been made for the last 25 years? Because in some way, I think that the federal government gets tired of having to pay for all of these senior citizens. Now, there was something else I was looking at. Yes, I would. No sale, doctor. Bring some gold right now. Now, Department of Education. Yes. Were you making a show? Oh, I I thought I explained that I didn't want to be the target of your show. I didn't want you to keep my sons. Yes. I don't want you to obstruct me. Yes. From being able to speak to Marilyn about where she wants to live. Yes. And there's this thought of exactly where should I be sending my kids to school? Yes. Now, Marilyn has some older daughters that I thought that we as a family should go shopping for. Yes. That need some new clothing because Mike's so cheap. Yeah. And just looking at the tuition recovery. Yeah. Hmm. Could you get me all the failed institutions where you were eligible for financial aid and then they closed their doors? There could be quite a racket in this whole tuition recovery. Yeah. And as a father that would be very supportive to Marilyn and her kids, it could be that they want to go to school someplace other than Life Pacific. Did you get a new president down there? Oh. Well, I did go to your website and I noticed Dennis is no longer the president. They now have a woman president of the Foursquare University right now. In fact, there's a beautiful picture of Rachel and another man that has tattoos all over his body, as in we're going the way of the world. Is it possible to magnetize any what's known as tattoo ink? Yes. Why don't you get me all the tattoo shops in Clallam County that have the availability of using some sort of green ink where they say, well, this will make your leprechaun poop. And then if you were to magnetize it using some sort of homeland security technology, yes, could I have complete control of the sexuality of women? Because I want them to have some influence. I want to talk to them about what they want to do with their naked bodies. Yeah, but I like the control. In fact, I thought last night, when after going shopping with Marilyn and her daughters, that I would like to get her drunk. Yes, sloppy drunk. So as to remove, well, it's called the screwdriver. It's vodka and orange juice that causes women to be very responsive to my sexual advances. Now, the proof of enlargement.